What if I told you the very first giant character balloon in the Macy's parade, a smiling, cartoonish Felix the Cat, wasn't designed to survive the day, yet ended up drifting into American legend? A balloon meant to be temporary becomes a myth meant to last. The year was 1927. New York City was buzzing with the electricity of the Jazz Age, radios crackling, Model T engines sputtering, and neon signs beginning to paint the night. Broadway was alive with Ziegfeld Follies and silent film icons like Clara Bow, Rudolph Valentino, whose death the year before left the whole city in shock, and Harold Lloyd were America's glowing cultural currency. And on Thanksgiving morning, Manhattan was gathering for something still young and experimental, Macy's third annual parade. Most people didn't know yet. The world was about to meet something it had never seen before. Behind the curtain was Tony Sarg, a German-American puppeteer with the imagination of a magician and the engineering mind of a watchmaker. Sarg had already transformed Macy's store windows into whimsical kinetic wonderlands, mechanical marionettes, dancing dolls, and moving scenes that stopped pedestrians in their tracks. But Sarg wanted something bigger, something alive, something that floated. So he teamed with the Goodyear Rubber Company to pioneer an entirely new invention, the upside-down marionette, a balloon controlled from below instead of above. This was the birth of the character balloon. And on Thanksgiving morning, November 24, 1927, crowds pressed against the cold steel barriers along Broadway. They expected bands, clowns, floats. They were not prepared for him. Emerging from behind a towering building was a vast, black and white shape. Felix the Cat, the biggest cartoon star on Earth at the time. Before Mickey ruled the screen, it was Felix whose mischievous smile lit up theaters and newspapers. Even celebrities like Charlie Chaplin praised him, calling his timing pure visual comedy. Now imagine this iconic character suddenly appearing the size of a building, drifting gracefully above the crowds. New Yorkers gasped. Children cried out. Some people even ducked, unsure if this giant creature was safe. Felix wasn't just a balloon. He was a prophecy, showing how animation, industry, and spectacle would fuse into the future. But here's the part most people don't know. Tony Sarg designed Felix with no deflation valve. He wasn't meant to be saved. He wasn't meant to be stored. He wasn't meant to be reused. When the parade ended, Macy's faced a simple question. What do we do with him now? Their answer became legend. Instead of popping the balloon, which felt borderline criminal, given how magical he looked, they simply released him into the sky. Yes, Macy's let a giant airborne cartoon drift freely over New York City. And Felix rose into the cold November air, like some surreal visitor from another dimension. Over the next few days, pilots flying over New Jersey, Long Island, and Pennsylvania reported seeing strange floating shapes, huge dark silhouettes drifting silently above farmland and small towns. Newspapers at the time jokingly described them as mysterious visitors from beyond. But too many rural Americans, unaccustomed to Manhattan's brand of modernity, they might as well have been UFOs. Imagine waking up in 1927, stepping outside your farmhouse, and seeing Felix the Cat, 50 feet tall, hovering over your barn like a cosmic prank. And Felix wasn't alone. Over the next few years, Macy's continued the tradition. Walt Disney, still 2 years away from debuting Mickey Mouse in Steamboat Willie, reportedly studied these balloons as examples of character exaggeration. F. Scott Fitzgerald referenced the era's sense of inflated optimism, literally and metaphorically, in essays written during these same years. Aviators like Charles Lindbergh, who had just crossed the Atlantic earlier in 1927, joked about unexpected friends in the sky. America was dreaming upward at a moment when everything seemed possible. By 1930, Macy's realized releasing giant balloons into the sky probably wasn't the greatest long-term plan. That year, a released balloon nearly caused chaos when a pilot tried to snag one midair for a reward. So Macy's introduced the valve system we use today, allowing balloons to be deflated and redesigned year after year. But nothing, absolutely nothing, has ever matched the magic of that first era, when balloons were allowed to fly free into America's imagination. After Felix, Macy's balloon lineup began to read like a gallery of pop culture history. 1933, the Marx Brothers inspired balloon designs in early sketches. 1934, Donald Duck made his Thanksgiving debut. 1947, the parade was televised nationally for the first time. 1950s, 1960s, Superman, Popeye, and Bullwinkle joined the skyline. But the one who opened the door, the one who drifted first, was Felix. Felix didn't just fly. He didn't just drift into rural skies or confuse early pilots. He carried something bigger. America's first collective experience of dreaming upward. In a decade racing toward modernity, skyscrapers rising, radios connecting the coasts, Hollywood creating global icons, Felix was the symbol that floated above it all. A cartoon made of rubber and helium became a message. The future is bigger than we can imagine, and sometimes it floats. Tony Sarg didn't know it at the time, but when he let Felix slip into the wind, he didn't just release a balloon, he released an era.